What up, YouTube fam? It's your man Logician back with the second video on black men being the greatest threat to the survival of the black community. So on top of all the stuff I talked about in video number one, you had most of the negative influences that I had to deal with came from older black men, and not necessarily, and it's not always negative influences, but it's the lack of positive influence. You know, my father wasn't in my life, and like I said, there were black men around, but I didn't want to necessarily be like them. You know, I saw people cheating on their wives, abusing their family. You know, then you had the drug dealers and, you know, the street element. You know, who wants to grow up and die at the age of 25? You know what I mean? So the pressures of not being exposed to the type of opportunities that the white kids in the suburbs. I grew up in Detroit. It's the most polarized, racially polarized metropolitan city in the nation. And the pressure of growing older, and you know, once you're in high school, like I said, the educational system is not designed to produce productive and prosperous citizens that are using their creativity and intelligence to further themselves in the nation. It's designed to indoctrinate kids and basically steal their creativity from them and steal and rob them of their individualism and their ability to do great things. So that's why they don't really teach the truth. They just indoctrinate you with a bunch of BS. The school system now, with 50% of all school kids in the nation dropping out, is the way it was designed to be. Back in like the 1920s by the Rockefellers, but that's another story. So I'm growing older, right? And like I said, I had to deal with all this stuff. And so I'm graduating high school, but I was never, you know, everybody told me I needed to go to college because I was an intelligent young black man, but nobody ever helped me understand what college was about or what it was. So once again, I had no leadership. You know, my mother did the best she could. My teachers, my female black teachers, and my grandmama and all them, my aunts, they did all they could. But I didn't have anybody to lead me. I didn't have anybody to guide me. So I grew up, I graduated from high school, and I don't have nowhere to go. I wasn't, you know, I was adamant about not going to college because I read a statistic when I was in like the 12th grade that 80% of all college graduates do not enter into a career in which they got their degree in. So I'm thinking about, you know, why should I spend 4 years and $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 on a system that's that inefficient? On top of that, black kids had the highest dropout rate in the first year of college. So I learned all this in my senior year of high school. So I'm like, okay, black kids dropping out that fast, I mean, there's no support system for them to keep them in. So I'm observing this, right? But at the same time, I still don't have no type of leadership in my life, any black male leadership. And I'm making a video, and so my bad. What was I? So the advent of seeing black men on drugs, you know, the advent of spiritual abuse by black men and watching other black men control and manipulate, you know, black women, and just watching droves and droves of, you know, guys around me, their fathers either not being there or straight leaving. So now I'm in my I'm in my late teens, my early 20s, and I'm kind of drifting around because I don't have anybody to kind of introduce me to the ins and outs, so to speak, of any of the major industries. You know, a lot of white kids get recruited because of their connections to their parents. Right? That's how Bill Gates got with IBM. Was his mother was on an executive board of a foundation with the CEO of IBM. So that's how he got hooked up. And that's how a lot of the white kids get hooked up. But if you don't have, if you don't really have a strong father to support the entire family, you know, and not necessarily financially either, but just morally, man, and just with the presence of him as a man, you don't have that kind of stuff. So if you look at your greatest athletes like Michael Jordan, right, Tiger Woods, I mean, these guys' fathers, man, was their backbone. You know, grown black men, you know, winning championships and stuff. Both of them talked to their fathers, man, about the decisions they should make, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, when I think about slavery, you know, black people always say, well, the white man this, the white man that. But the white man ain't raping black women no more like they used to in slavery. You know what I'm saying? It's black men raping black women, you know, abusing black kids, you know. I talk about the educational system, but, you know, I look at the fact that a lot of black kids don't grow up respecting the educational system, even though it's twisted. You can still gain a lot from it. You know, hearing, you know, on the news about, you know, how a black guy went up to the school and beat up the teacher, threw a teacher through a pane glass window or something like that. That happened several times. So you got these black kids saying, yeah, you know, my father, you know, my daddy the man. You know what I'm saying? He beat up the teacher. You know, what kind of nonsense is that? Seeing all that kind of stuff. So another thing is that you got black men that grew up and become successful, but they lead a community. So I don't want to have to deal with all that, man. So, you know, not all black men, but just too many have left and taken their gifts and their education and their knowledge and their wisdom and taken it outside the community. So how's the community supposed to grow? You know, so all of the holes and all of the deficits and all of the things that the black community is supposed to have, you know, is really going down the drain because either black men are not there to provide it or they're there jacking it up. For example, I look at this the Detroit situation with Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. This was a young black man, who a lot of young black people period, had their hopes on. And look how he did his people. You know what I mean? Detroit, you know, it's just so. You know, a lot of this stuff when it comes to young black girls, you know, loving thugs. What if they had how many of those girls had a strong male figure in the family, black male figure in the family, or male across the other ethnic groups that showed them what a man is supposed to be and how to treat a man? I mean, how a man is supposed to treat a woman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these young girls out here, and just women, period, don't have that, or didn't have that. You know, that was instilled in them whose father tucked them in that night and kissed them on the cheek and told them they was beautiful and told them everything's gonna be all right. So they run to comfort, you know, to the comfort of some knucklehead who they believe is gonna, you know, is gonna protect them. You know what I mean? Because he got a swag or some stupid stuff like that. So black men, if we got our act together, man. Another thing, black men don't pray no more. You know, Martin Luther King, all them cats, they prayed, man. You know, they weren't perfect. But, you know, them cats prayed, man. They led their families, you know, in prayer. And they led their families, man, in spiritual development, man. And in the worship of the Lord God. We don't have that no more. So we don't have no morals, no ethics, no nothing, man. So, man, if black men, if we really got our act together, man, the rest of our community would. And we wouldn't have to blame nobody else, black women, the white man, nothing, man. If we got ourselves right before the Lord, you know, and stepped up and took responsibility instead of being so selfish, the black community would be all right. So, anyway, that's my comments on the subject. Y'all stay up.